You know Steve Jobs, the genius who created the iPhone, passed away from pancreatic cancer. But did you know that his disease was actually an extremely rare form, one that could have been cured if operated on early? And today, we will open Steve Jobs' medical file to understand why he delayed that fateful surgery for 9 months and what costly lessons his illness has left for all of us. I'm Dr. Minions, a master of medicine specializing in emergency and critical care, and today we will explore pancreatic cancer. If you're busy, please save this video to watch later when you have time. In October 2003, in a quiet examination room, fate dealt Steve Jobs 2 cards. The first card was one of incredible luck, a rare mistake by death itself. The doctors informed him that he had a tumor in his pancreas, but it was not the death sentence named pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma that 95% of other patients contract. No, he had a pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, pNET, a rare, slow-growing type, and most importantly, completely curable if operated on early. It was a golden opportunity, an unexpected escape route from a disease widely considered incurable. The second card was the advice of medicine, a clear and proven path: immediate surgery. Remove the tumor while it was still localized, and he could very well live a full life. But Steve Jobs, a man who had spent his entire life thinking different and challenging every rule, did not choose that path. He placed a bet with death. For 9 fateful months, he refused the operating table, refused conventional medicine. Instead, he embarked on his own experiment: a strict vegan diet, fruit juices and acupuncture and other alternative therapies. He believed that through willpower and a different lifestyle, he could starve and conquer the tumor. Time passed. 9 precious months slipped through his fingers like a silent river. In July 2004, that river reached the sea. The latest scans revealed a harsh reality. Not only had the tumor not disappeared, but it had grown larger. Late-stage regret had arrived. Steve Jobs finally agreed to surgery. A Whipple procedure, one of the most complex surgeries of the abdomen, was performed. But the golden window for a complete cure may have already begun to close. From here, the battle entered a new, much more difficult chapter. In 2009, the ghost of cancer returned. This time, it had metastasized to his liver. He had to undergo a liver transplant, a controversial and risky solution, a final attempt to clutch at life. And then, on October 5, 2011, that journey came to an end. Steve Jobs passed away, nearly 8 years after his diagnosis. A journey longer than the prognosis for typical pancreatic cancer, but a regrettable outcome for a battle that could have been won. Imagine the pancreas is a multifunctional factory about 15 centimeters long, nestled deep behind the stomach. It has 2 independent workshops. The exocrine workshop produces powerful digestive enzymes that are released into the small intestine to break down food into small particles the body can absorb. The endocrine workshop produces hormones, most famously insulin and glucagon, to control blood sugar levels and keep the body's engine running smoothly. When this factory runs smoothly, everything is perfect. But when one cell within it rebels, cancer appears. This is the key difference in pancreatic cancer. Type 1, 95%, pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma, extremely aggressive, with a very poor prognosis and a 5-year survival rate of less than 10%. Type 2, rare, 3 to 5%, pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor, pNET. This is the type Steve Jobs had. It grows slowly and can be cured with early surgery. Jobs was dealt a lucky card. Why is pancreatic cancer so dangerous? Because it is a silent killer. The pancreas is located so deep that the early stages are almost asymptomatic. By the time signs appear, it is often too late. Ductal cancer, the common type, upper abdominal pain radiating to the back, jaundice or yellowing of the skin and eyes due to the tumor compressing the bile duct, and unexplained weight loss. pNET, Jobs type, symptoms are even more vague. If the tumor is non-functional, doesn't produce hormones, it might only cause non-specific abdominal pain. If it is functional, it will overproduce hormones, causing strange symptoms like hypoglycemia from an insulinoma or severe peptic ulcers from a gastronoma. It was these hormonal symptoms that led to the accidental, relatively early discovery of Jobs' disease during an abdominal MRI. To make a accurate diagnosis, we must play detective. Step 1, blood tests. Look for markers like CA19-9 elevated in ductal cancer or chromogranin A elevated in pNET. Step 2, imaging. Ultrasound, CT, MRI, and especially PET-Gas68, an extremely sensitive reconnaissance satellite used specifically to find pNET tumors. Step 3, biopsy. The gold standard is an endoscopic ultrasound, EUS, where an endoscope with an ultrasound tip is passed through the mouth to get close to the pancreas. A very fine needle is then passed through the stomach wall to take a tissue sample from the tumor, FNA. This sample provides the final answer. Today, we have many weapons to fight pNET. Surgery, still the top choice if the tumor is localized. The Whipple procedure is an extremely complex major surgery. For smaller tumors, a surgeon might only need to perform an enucleation, scooping out the tumor. Targeted and endocrine therapies. Somatostatin analogs, SSA, act like brakes to slow the tumor's growth and control hormonal symptoms. Everolimus and sunitinib. These are smart drugs that work by cutting the communication lines or cutting the blood supply of the cancer cells. PRRT, peptide receptor radionuclide therapy. This is a cutting-edge weapon. Imagine it as a mini nuclear heat-seeking missile. Doctors attach a radioactive isotope, or lutetium-177, to a guidance molecule, or dotatate. This missile seeks out the pNET cancer cells and detonates, destroying them from the inside with minimal damage to healthy tissue. These are the weapons Steve Jobs had the opportunity to use had he not delayed. So why was Steve Jobs' 9-month delay so deadly? A large study showed that for pNET patients eligible for surgery, a delay of more than 3 months reduced the 5-year survival rate by 22%. Liver metastases typically appear after an average of 18 months without intervention. Jobs' 9 months was far too long, enough time for the smallest cancer cells, micrometastases, to have a chance to escape and seed themselves elsewhere, like his liver. This is the most costly lesson. A healthy diet and a scientific lifestyle are wonderful companions, but they cannot replace conventional medicine, especially surgery, when we have the chance to cure a disease. And if you don't know about the Crohn's disease that Mr. Beast has, click on this video.